Hello, thank you for tuning in. My name is Heather Geist. I am the Education and Outreach Manager of the Farmington River Watershed Association. You can visit frwa.org to find out more about our organization. And this is a presentation for the Connecticut Envirothon Aquatic Station about benthic aquatic macroinvertebrates. So let's go ahead and get started and meet these guys. All right, so as you can see, we've got a picture of some of them up here, also a QR code you can go ahead and scan with your phone if you'd like to find out more about FRWA and what we do. And let's jump in. What are aquatic macroinvertebrates? Well, they're aquatic, they live in the water, they live on stream and lake bottoms. They are large enough for you to see with your naked eye, hence the macro, and they are invertebrates. They do not have an internal backbone. They often do have a hard exoskeleton though. These guys are really great indicators of water quality because they're easy to catch and collect. They live pretty much everywhere in streams and rivers. They're very sensitive to pollution a lot of the time, and they can live sometimes up to 2 or 3 years in the water. So they give a very good comprehensive long-term view of water quality rather than a single sampling event. One indicator that scientists use is called the EPT Richness Index, which basically just looks at the 3 most sensitive orders of these stream insects, which are our Mayflies, Stoneflies, and Caddisflies, also known as the Ephemeroptera, Plecoptera, and Trichoptera orders. It looks at those in comparison to all of the sample size, every organism found in a river collection sample. Basically, by doing that, it tells us if we have a healthy composition of these very sensitive organisms, then that's probably a good place to live in that stream. So these guys are arthropods. Like any insect, they have 3 main parts of their body: a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. They also have antennae, they have segmented legs, wing pads, they've got tails. They also have other specialized features for gas exchange, underwater, and for feeding. For gas exchange, you'll see gills on a lot of these guys, on all of these guys. You will also see lamellae, pardon me, which help move water along the gills. We also have the feeding features. You can have mouth parts that are for piercing, sucking, or shredding, and tarsal claws that help shred up bits of leaves and debris. One important thing to remember about these guys is because they are arthropods and have exoskeletons, their skeleton does not grow with them. So they have to molt. And in between each molt, they're going to be a little bit bigger. So a lot of the time, size is not a good indicator when you are identifying these guys. It's always a good thing to remember. So let's go ahead and meet our EPT species, the most sensitive. We'll start with order Ephemeroptera. These are the Mayflies. Most of them are pretty small in size. As you can see in the bottom there, I have the little coin reference chart. They're about the size of a dime or a penny mostly. They have very feathery or plate-like gills generally along their abdomen. You can usually see them. And they've got 2 tails most of the time, or cerci. Sometimes they do have a 3rd, as you can see on many of these guys. Some common examples here are the 2-tailed flathead mayfly, genus Ephemeroptera. We also have the brush-legged mayfly, which is Isonitia, and the bodybuilder mayfly, which is genus Dronella. You can see an adult mayfly there, which if you don't know, these guys have a very iconic short lifespan of 1 day in their adult form, but the young nymphs can grow for about 2 years in the water. So they really spend almost their entire life underwater. Our next order in the EPT is Plecoptera. These are our stoneflies. Most of them are pretty small, but some of them can get big enough to the point where they would fit in the palm of your hand rather than on top of any coin that we could find here in America. These guys always have 2 tarsal claws at the end of their segmented legs to help them move around and rip things apart. They've always got 2 cerci, or 2 tails, and generally you can see they've got hair-like gills along the bottom of it. It almost makes them look kind of fuzzy a lot of the time. Some common Plecoptera species we see here. In the order, we've got the common stonefly, which is the family Perlidae. We've got the giant stonefly. These are the Pteronarcidae. We've got the roach-like stonefly, Peltoperlidae. the green stonefly, which is Chloroperidae. And also we have the mature stonefly. This is what they look like when they finally come out of the water. Our next order is Trichoptera, the Caddisflies. These guys are mostly also pretty small in size. Some of them do get a little bit longer. They generally have very slender bodies and kind of a bigger head most of the time. And on almost all of these guys, you're going to see these lamellae at the end of their bodies. They almost look like a little brush, like an artist's paintbrush at the end of their tails. That's going to help them get around a little bit and move that water over their gills so they can breathe. Some examples we have of the caddisflies here. There's about kind of two different ways that they like to live. We've got the engineers that make themselves a case out of debris or sticks, sand, things like that, which are the cornucopia case caddisfly here, genus Epithenia. We also have the humpless case maker caddisfly, Brachicentris, and the saddle case maker caddisfly, Glossosoma. We do also have other caddisflies that like to be free living, and many of them do construct nets or filters to collect particles from the moving water. For example, we have the net spinner caddisfly here, Hydropsychidae is his name. And at the top, you can see that's what they look like as grown-ups. So that is our three most sensitive to pollution species. We'll go through a few of the other orders as well that you might see a lot of in a riverine system in the Northeast. We have Odonata here, the dragonflies and damselflies first. They can be pretty small and they can also get pretty big. These guys generally have big eyes. They've got pretty well developed wing pads on their backs there. They mostly have a very specialized mouth part known as a labium that can actually come out and seize and strike the prey in front of them. We also have two suborders of these guys. There are the dragonflies, which is suborder Anisoptera, and the damselflies, which is Zygothera. And you can see those two in their mature forms. Both as larvae and adults, they're kind of differentiated by their, I guess you could say, robustness. The dragonfly is usually a little bigger, a little sturdier and thicker. The damselfly is more dainty. Our next order is Megaloptera. These are the alderflies, the Dobsonflies, and the fishflies. These guys can be pretty big and they can be pretty mean. They can get up to about the size that can fit in your hand. They do have very strong chewing mouth parts, strong jaws, and they will bite you. Be careful if you grab them, always grab them by the head because they will flip over and get you really good. They do have fairly flat bodies, and they're pretty well characterized by these filaments that go along the side of their bodies there. Some examples we have here are the family Cialidae, which are the alderflies, pardon me, and the family Corydalidae, which are our Helgramites. Those are the biters. Genus Negronia, the fishfly, and Corydalis, the Dobsonfly. At the top, you can see that they do maintain those chewing mouth parts even as mature forms. It's pretty scary. I would not want to be a small bug in their way. Next, we have order Coleoptera. These are our aquatic beetles. So they're pretty small. Overall, you know, the adults, they look like beetles. We know what beetles look like. They have very well developed eyes and wing pads. The larvae, not so much. They look more larva-like. These guys can be aquatic in both stages, larval and as adults, as you can see here. A couple of common examples we would find around here are genus Cephinus, the water penny, and Elmidae, family Elmidae, the riffle beetle. Next, we have order Lepidoptera. These are our aquatic caterpillars. There's only one family of these guys that we find around here. They are the family Cramidae, who you'll see in just a moment there. They're all very small, and they basically look like caterpillars, because they are. Our next order is Diptera. These are the true flies. So these guys all tend to be a little more worm-like looking. They have softer, fleshy bodies usually. They don't have legs really, and if they do, it's not much of a leg. What they do tend to have a lot of the time are protrusions at the end of their bodies that help them anchor to surfaces. Let's see, our common suspects here are the black fly, Simuliidae, pardon me, the green fly, Tifulidae, and our friends, the mosquito family, Culicidae. Next order is our true bugs, the Hemiptera. These are our water bugs that you're used to thinking of as water bugs. They can be very small or very big, as that water scorpion you see over there, family Nephidae. He's a scary one. These guys all have piercing, sucking mouth parts. They are predators. They've got pretty good, well-developed wing pads if they have wings at all. They can be aquatic in their nymph and their adult stages. We have the water strider, as you can see on the left there, that is family Garridae. And like I mentioned before, the water scorpion Nepidae. That guy is about as big as your hand. Other guys you might see in the water that are macroinvertebrates, but they are not really the kind we generally look for as far as sensitivity and water quality. But we've got the decapods, crayfish, the planaria, flatworms, oligochaetes, that's our segmented worms, the aquatic sow bug, isopods, and the amphipods, which are our scuds. Those you'll see as well sometimes. Now, if this is incredibly interesting to you and you want to meet these bugs in person, FRWA does do training for the Connecticut Deeps Riffle Bioassessment by Volunteers program, also known as RBV, where you can go and get into the water, get your feet wet, collect some of these guys, sort them out, and learn how to identify them. We do this training in October or September, depending on the weather. So feel free to scan that QR code, visit our website, and keep an eye out for those volunteer opportunities. We hope to post usually in August when we're going to be doing that training. All right. So thank you very much for listening to this presentation. I hope it made you love bugs as much as we do here at FRWA. Feel free to check out any of these resources. We have some incredible resources about macroinvertebrates. So thank you again for watching and have an awesome day.